Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 96 351 The News Qishao Brought Back. 96th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Boom. Three figures, two men and a woman, mounted on three majestic exotic beasts, appeared atop a low hill in the northern Chu Plains. Under the starry night sky, the 3-foot-thick snow-covered plains shimmered with an eerie glow. Countless tombstones, like chopsticks stuck in the ground, barely peeked above the snow. The once terrifying burial mounds were now draped in thick white cloaks. Xuanhuan Hongting stood in the center, clad in a wide Taoist robe of azure silk, her hair bound by a wooden hairpin. Her skin was as white and flawless as jade, her eyes as bright as stars and sharp as lightning. She held a spiritual artifact folding fan, her beauty unparalleled, her aura both free-spirited and heroic. Whoosh! Xuanhuan Qingting flew from her sleeve to scout the night. Beside her, Kang Li gazed into the distance, that's Fu Prefecture ahead. Since the Great Earthquake, the heretical sect's demons have become increasingly active. It seems our ancestor of the Xuanhuan clan was right, there must be another entrance to the underground immortal mansion, and the headquarters of the evil cult is likely hidden beneath it. Xuanhuan Hongting said, there's another theory. The entrance to the underground immortal mansion was blasted open by Qilin Zhuang. Many older cultivators believe the claim of a heretical sect headquarters is a deliberate deception. The true purpose is to lure waves of human clan cultivators into the abode and slaughter them, just like Tang Wanzhou and that other person. In the biting wind, she sighed softly, it's been a full year. After the great earthquake, everyone retreated, but we haven't heard a word from him since. Yin Ju stood nearby, his severed arm regrown. The new limb was covered in golden dragon scales, grafted onto him by the abbot of the Calamity Crossing Temple using the arm of an immortal realm giant from the aberrant humanoid race. It possessed terrifying power. Kang Li sighed, with his innate talent, how could he be content with his martial mystic path stopping at the Dao Seed realm? He must have sought a heaven-defying opportunity within the underground immortal mansion. If I were in his shoes, I would have risked my life to seize it, even if it meant perishing underground. At least I would have no regrets. Hidden 2 descended from the sky on a 7 or 8 meter long black exotic bird. With 10 meters remaining before impact, he activated his movement technique to land first. He hurried toward Yin Ju, his expression urgent. Hidden 2 hadn't used the hidden sect's exclusive channels to contact him. Instead, he had rushed here overnight, indicating a matter of earth-shattering importance. Hidden 9 immediately dismounted his exotic beast and hurried forward to greet him. The divine hidden sect token has appeared. Hidden 2 pulled out a letter he had just received and handed it over. Seeing Xuanhuan Hongting and Kang Li nearby, he used spiritual qi to transmit his voice. Hidden 9 froze for a moment before quickly unfolding the letter. The secret mark is correct, and the token seal is genuine. The talismanic runes sealing the letter are a secret scriptures of the hidden sect. It was sent by urgent courier from South Yan Pass, 1,000 miles away, indicating the situation has become unimaginably dire, Hidden 2 said. Hidden 9 frowned deeply. Have you contacted the Hidden Lord? The Hidden Lord's whereabouts are secret. We must first send a message back to Zhuli Insect Valley and go through the Hidden Elder to find him. The round trip would take too long, Hidden 2 replied. Xuanhuan Hongting and Kang Li both realized that the newcomer must be a key figure in the Zhuli hidden sect. Kang Li asked, Zhu Fu, what's happened? Yin Ju hesitated for a moment, deciding there was no need to hide the truth from them. He had no choice but to consult them now. He handed them the letter. He has appeared. After reading the letter, Xuanhuan Hongting's eyes flickered with doubt, could this be a forgery? Everything checks out. Regardless, I must set off for Lingxiao City immediately to confirm this, Yin Ju said. Xuanhuan Hongting replied, don't rush. We still have 10 days until the first day of the 12th lunar month. We should first consider why he's gathering so many experts in Lingxiao City. Qingting has returned, she seems to have made a discovery. 40 miles away, Qishao crawled out of a river, utterly exhausted. He collapsed on the icy bank, gasping for breath. Dozens of wounds on his body continued to bleed. Shortly after leaving South Yan Pass, he had been pursued by Twin Rice sect experts. No matter how he tried to evade them, they always found him with uncanny accuracy. He suspected the problem lay with the death spirit fire planted within him when he left the Twin Rice sect's cultivation headquarters. It was one of the sect's methods to prevent betrayal. This also strongly suggested that Li Wei had met with disaster. Otherwise, why would the Twin Rice sect experts be hunting him? South Yan Pass must be a trap, and Li Wei was likely already dead inside. Tuoba probably won't escape either. Now all hope rests on me. Can I do this? Will I even make it back alive? Qishao lay on the ground, chuckling bitterly. Then, he stared blankly at the starry sky above, a wave of unbearable anguish rising within him, urging him to scream. In his ears, the nightmarish barking of the hellhounds echoed once more. The enemy was closing in. They're truly relentless. Clenching his jaw, he struggled to his feet and charged into the snowy forest. From the ancestral field, he summoned his spiritual artifact Battle Saber and the last remaining Divine Swiftness Talisman. It was thanks to the Divine Swiftness Talisman Li Wei had given him that he had managed to cross the entire Fu Prefecture, covering thousands of miles as he fled all the way to the northern Chu Plains. Each Divine Swiftness Talisman was a life. Now, he had only one life left. Behind him, across the wide expanse of water, a dense black cloud of dead spirits surged forward, filled with grotesque human figures and monstrous beast shadows. Leading the charge was a dead spirit hellhound wreathed in blue ghost fire. Astride its back sat a figure in a black robe with white hair, 4 eyes on its face, and a staff in hand, resembling a specter from the depths of hell. The dead spirit battle soul of the scaled lion giant beast within Qi Xiao's shield spiritual artifact had been swallowed whole by the hellhound. Along the shore, countless figures raced through the snowy forest, each moving with incredible speed, their footsteps rustling through the snow. Before long, Qi Xiao was overtaken by the dense swarm of figures in the forest. These humans were clad in tattered clothes, their skin like bronze. Each had a crimson curse mark branded on their chest, their eyes burned red, and their bodies radiated murderous intent. They charged at Qi Xiao relentlessly, each wave crashing against him like a tidal wave. They were blood curse cultists of the Twin Rice sect. Through the curse marks on their bodies, they could unleash several times their normal strength and speed for a short period. The only drawback was that once the curse mark was activated, it inevitably led to their exhaustion and death. The forest erupted in a cacophony of killing cries as blood curse cultists fell one after another. Qi Xiao's arms grew numb and weak from hacking, yet he couldn't kill them all. 4 God Slayer servant knights, riding dead spirit mounts, charged at him from 4 different directions. One of the God Slayer servants said in a deep voice, "We've received a new mission from above, no need to capture any survivors. Eliminate the traitor immediately." Who the hell is the traitor? Are you trying to force me to betray the divine sect? Ah. An arrow pierced Qi Xiao's back, its fiery tip tearing through his body and spewing blood. The pain nearly knocked him unconscious. He slapped a divine swiftness talisman onto his body, his eyes bloodshot as he continued to sprint. Behind him, the dense sound of footsteps and the bestial roars of the blood curse cultists echoed through the forest. Ahead, the dense forest finally gave way to the snow-covered northern Chu Plains, marking his return to Chu Prefecture. The moment Qi Xiao burst from the snow-covered woods. Whoosh! From the forest behind him, the 4-eyed elder astride the dead spirit hellhound shot 4 strands of light from his pupils. These strands pierced through the trees, crossed 100 yards, and wrapped around Qi Xiao's neck, waist, and arms, pulling him back. Qi Xiao watched the northern Chu Plains recede, ignoring the searing pain in his neck as he let out a furious roar. The roar startled the snow-laden trees, causing snow to cascade down in a flurry. Falling with the snow was a massive axe shrouded in scriptures. The axe, appearing from nowhere, spun rapidly, its dazzling light blinding. It sliced through the 4 strands of spiritual light Lingguang that bound Qi Xiao, severing them completely. Boom! The axe slammed into the ground, shaking the earth. Trees toppled in swaths, and the shockwave of spiritual Qi sent dozens of blood curse cultists closest to the impact flying. The dead spirit hellhound, its body wreathed in ghost fire, sensed something amiss and began to bark anxiously. The 4-eyed elder on the dead spirit hellhound's back and the 4 God Slayer servants grew wary, each activating their spiritual artifacts and unleashing their Dao heart manifestations and spiritual power. Boom! Boom! Kang Li and Yin Ju, who had been concealed, suddenly revealed themselves. Their Dao heart manifestations erupted, and they charged forward from left and right, crushing the 4 God Slayer servants. The 6 great experts clashed in a chaotic battle, spiritual artifacts colliding, Dao technique brilliance exploding, and figures blurring. After only 3 breaths, the 4 God Slayer servants were sent tumbling backward, severely wounded and fleeing in panic. The 4-eyed elder on the dead spirit hellhound's back watched intently. A figure in a green Taoist robe emerged from beneath the starry sky, her skin glowing white like a banished immortal descending to the mortal realm. Primordial lamp. Xuanhuan Hongting formed a hand seal, and the third eye spirit realm in her brow opened, revealing a mysterious and vast world where fragments of an ancient lamp floated. Boom! Radiant light, like divine radiance, surged from her brow. Night turned to day, and the terrifying energy flattened the entire snow forest. Everything, including the 4 God Slayer servants and the blood curse cultists, was reduced to ashes. The 4-eyed elder and the dead spirit hellhound held out a little longer, but they too were shattered into dust by the impact. Kang Li and Yin Ju had already flown ahead with Qi Xiao, returning to the snowfields to treat his wounds and staunch the bleeding. Xuanhuan Hongting hurried forward. "Qi Xiao, where have you been for the past 2 years?" Qi Xiao lay on the ground, his eyes lighting up with joy at the sight of Xuanhuan Hongting approaching. He wanted to speak, but blood kept gushing from his mouth. "Don't talk. Let me heal you first." Xuanhuan Hongting produced a medicinal pill and fed it to him. After swallowing the healing pill, Qixiao's injuries gradually stabilized. He urgently said, something terrible has happened. The demon clan and the twin rice sect. The nether realm of the dead is about to attack Lingxiao city. The three present, Kang Li, Yin Ju, and Zuoqiu Hongting, were stunned, instantly recalling Li Wei's divine hidden sect token. Kang Li asked, why were heretical sect experts pursuing you? This matter must be top secret. How did you learn about it? Li Wei tasked me with bringing back the news. For the past year, we've been at the twin rice sect's cultivation headquarters. We were tricked. He may already be dead at South Yan Pass. Qixiao's chest heaved violently, his face pale. Kang Li asked, is the twin rice sect's cultivation headquarters located in the underground immortal mansion? Qixiao nodded and turned to Kang Li. A battle between immortal realm giants erupted at South Yan Pass. The attacker was Yang Shenjing, the sect leader of the Sui sect. Tuoba said the person under attack might have been your father. He sensed your father's spiritual power fluctuations at the engagement banquet 2 years ago. Thump, thump, thump. Kang Li was struck by a bolt of lightning. He stumbled back 3 steps, his face even paler than Qixiao's. After regaining his balance, he turned and charged toward the Zuwu beast without looking back. He was convinced that since Li Wei had appeared at South Yan Pass, the person Yang Shenjing had killed must have been his father. Even if the old man was strong, he was only in his 60s. Yang Shenjing, on the other hand, had lived for centuries. There was no way he could have escaped. Where are you going? Zuoqiu Hongting barked. Kang Li, mounted on the Zuwu's back, turned around. Tears streamed down his face as he said, back to Li Prefecture. I'll gather all the troops. To avenge him. Come back. You mustn't spread this news, Zuoqiu Hongting urged. Kang Li's tiger-like eyes blazed with fury. Are you Zuoqiu clan going to sit back and watch the tiger fight? Once Lingxiao city falls and the imperial court collapses, the demon clan, the heretical sect, and the nether realm of the dead will sweep across the land in triumph. Can you Zuoqiu clan stop them? Zuoqiu Hongting, if you won't fight this battle for Lingxiao city, the Zhuli tribe will. Zuoqiu Hongting said, can't you be rational for once? Why did Li Wei only gather the Zhuli hidden sects experts instead of spreading the news publicly? We haven't fully understood many things yet. Acting rashly now will only lead to heavy losses. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 97 352 The Secret Front. 97th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Li Songgu, the current hidden lord of the Zhuli hidden sect, was no longer a secret to Zuoqiu Hongting, Yin Ju, and Kang Li. Once Qixiao's injuries stabilized, he recounted everything that had happened over the past 2 years in exhaustive detail. Even Kang Li, consumed by hatred and agony, managed to calm himself, understanding that any rash action would undo the perilous efforts of his father, Yao Qingshan, and Li Wei across 2 generations. Simultaneously, all 3 were stunned by the sheer power of the heretical sect Qixiao described, far greater than the outside world had imagined. Previously, the common belief was that the heretical sect's strength was inferior to that of the ancient myriad sects. Zuoqiu Hongting said, both the Zuoqiu sect and the Zuoqiu hidden sect have repeatedly sent skilled and resourceful cultivators to infiltrate the heretical sect. Less than 1 in 10 ever reached the main hall. And of those who did, hardly any survived. They only knew the main hall was located within a certain secret realm, accessible via a space teleportation formation. They had no idea it was actually hidden within an underground immortal mansion. Qixiao gave a bitter smile. If not for Li Wei, I would have died at the main hall long ago. Without Yao Qingshan, brother Wei would surely have perished as well. Even Yao Qingshan alone wouldn't have been enough, we needed Hall Master An's backing as well. The main hall was truly a death trap at every step. No one trusted us, and they used every means imaginable to eliminate us. Yin Ju said, Hidden Lord's timely appearance at Southern Yan Pass makes Yao Qingshan's identity self-evident. Kang Li replied, we have only 3 months, and the situation is critical. The demon race, the heretical sect, and the nether realm of the dead must already be making comprehensive covert preparations. The twin rice sect has been hidden for 1,000 years, and their people are scattered across the land. The major powers have undoubtedly been silently infiltrated and riddled with holes, making it impossible to distinguish friend from foe. We must act now. We cannot stand idly by and watch Lingxiao city fall. No matter how corrupt the imperial court may be, it remains the strongest pillar of the human race. Even if it must collapse, we must drag down our enemies first. Zuoqiu Hongting added, as you said, it's impossible to tell friend from foe. Once news leaks, can you guarantee that all 9 clan chiefs of your Zhuli clan are trustworthy? I certainly can't guarantee that there are no heretical sect members among the immortal realm great powers of the Zuoqiu sect. Even if there aren't, the heretical sect will have tried every trick in the book to infiltrate, subvert, coerce, and bribe. We are in the open, while they operate in the shadows. 1,000 years is more than enough time to accomplish countless things. If the demon race and the heretical sect discover that the news has leaked, war will erupt instantly. They have been preparing for this for a long time, while we have done nothing. She turned to Qi Xiao. The exact details of the attack on Lingxiao City are likely known only to those above the rank of Venerable One within the heretical sect, right? That's probably the case, Qi Xiao replied. Yao Qingshan is likely the highest-ranking human in the heretical sect. Zhuoqiu Hongting pondered carefully. Regardless of when they actually strike, we should assume they'll move within 3 months. By now, the demon, evil, and nether factions must already be deploying forces across the imperial court's 8 core provinces. To conceal their true objective, the demon race will undoubtedly launch diversions in the East Sea, Southern Territory, and Western Territory, drawing the court's attention to the periphery. A frontal attack on Cloud Heaven, Yuntian, Immortal Plain and Lingxiao City would result in devastating casualties and might not even succeed. The only viable strategy is to coordinate an inside-outside attack. This battle, which will determine the fate of the world, hinges on the situation within Lingxiao City and the 4 strategic passes leading to Cloud Heaven, Yuntian, Immortal Plain. If we can eliminate as many demon and heretical sect infiltrators and human traitors as possible before the main conflict, Qilin Zhuang and the heretical sect will pay a heavy price for daring to enter Cloud Heaven, Yuntian, Immortal Plain. Li Weiyi's decision to mobilize the Zhu Li hidden sect's elite fighters to Lingxiao City must be for this very purpose, to cripple the enemy on the hidden front and secure every possible advantage for the human race. Yin Zhu said in a low voice, it's a pity that Hidden Lord may already be gone. The only hidden ones we can mobilize are the young ones from this 60-year cycle. Trying to counter the heretical sect's 1,000-year plan with such limited resources is like throwing an egg against a rock. Moreover, Lingxiao City has formidable figures like Yao Qian. Kang Li said, if we can't fully trust even the 9 clan chiefs and 9 great priests of the Zhu Li clan, who can we trust? How can we guarantee that not a single detail will leak? Zhuoqiu Hongting said, since this is a covert operation, we must rely on the hidden sects. Mobilizing large numbers of openly skilled experts would immediately alert the enemy. If the Zhu Li hidden sect isn't enough, we can call upon my Zhuoqiu hidden sect. With only 2 months left, I don't know if we can even make it in time. Isn't it 3 months? Yin Zhu asked. Zhuoqiu Hongting said, by the last month, or even the last half month, the imperial court, even with its sluggish bureaucracy, should have sensed the danger. Qi Xiao, the death spirit fire within you is quite unique. The heretical sect likely has a way to use it to pinpoint your location. I can't take you back to Chu Prefecture City. Qi Xiao's expression was bitter. He nodded and said, I understand. Only my death will prevent the Twin Rice sect from suspecting anything. I prepared for this before I returned. Just give me a quick death. Zhuoqiu Hongting shook her head. There's another path, perhaps more valuable than death. Qi Xiao stared at her blankly. Return to the Twin Rice sect's main hall, Zhuoqiu Hongting said, use the entrance to the underground immortal mansion 100 miles away to return. Whether you survive depends on your fate. To be safe, I'll erase your memory of this event and place a letter in your chest written in Li Weiyi's hand. When you wake up and read the letter, you'll know what to do. Swish. She opened her spirit realm between her eyebrows, channeling the power of the shattered lamp. Light, sharp as a blade, sliced into Qi Xiao's sea of consciousness. Qi Xiao fainted. Yin Zhu, imitating Li Weiyi's handwriting, wrote a letter and stuffed it into Qi Xiao's chest. The letter tells him that if anything changes at Southern Yan Pass, he must immediately return to the Divine Sect's headquarters and inform the Southern Venerable. Yin Zhu carried Qi Xiao toward the entrance to the underground immortal mansion. Kang Li, please grieve with restraint. Uncle Li may have prepared for this and not died at Southern Yan Pass. Control your emotions and clean up and rearrange this place. We can't let the heretical sect suspect anything. I must return to Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain immediately, Zhuoqiu Hongting said before leaving. After his secret meeting with Zhuang Yu, Li Weiyi retrieved 7th Phoenix and immediately rushed back to the retainer's residence, not daring to linger too long. He leapt over the wall and landed in the courtyard. Releasing his psychic power, he scanned the area. The 2 maids were sound asleep in their respective rooms, their breaths long and shallow. Something's wrong. They're both spiritual masters. How could they possibly fall asleep together on their first night serving me? Li Weiyi's instincts flared. He immediately slapped a divine speed talisman onto his body and clutched an immobilization talisman in his hand, his back concealed as he pushed open the door. The formation set up in the room had been broken. In the darkness, a slender and graceful figure lay on the bed, a faint fragrance lingering in the air, stirring a sense of intoxicating allure. What took you so long? I was about to fall asleep. Long Shangsen's voice was soft and weary. Li Wai flicked his fingertip. A spirit fire shot out, illuminating the glass lamp on the table. In the lamplight, Long Shangsen lay on her side, still wearing her pale yellow rue skirt. But she was utterly different from her daytime appearance. Her snow-white, slender jade legs were exposed, reaching all the way to her plump, rounded thighs. Her fluffy tail swayed gently, her eyes brimming with alluring charm, her expression utterly seductive. Even the most resolute man would likely abandon all restraint and pull her into his arms for a passionate embrace. Li Wai stood at the door, his expression grim. Striking here benefits no one. If Tai Shi Bai finds out about Miss Long's lascivious pose astride Luan Sheng Lin Yu's legs, all your cherished memories will vanish. So you saw it after all. A cold glint flashed deep within Long Shangsen's pupils, quickly replaced by a smirk. Do you think he'll believe you or me? My aunt is currently in charge of the general's mansion. She's my own aunt, you know. If Madame Tai Shi were a member of the demon race faction, I would have fled long ago. Why would I willingly walk into a trap? Li Wai believed the Long clan wasn't involved in the demon race faction's activities because she was genuinely investigating Zhang Xin's identity as the prefect elder. If she had been trying to cover up the truth, the letter Li Wai had sent to Tai Shi Bai would have vanished without a trace. Did they really expect the Zhang clan and Phoenix Terrace to bring down Zhang Xin? Li Wai continued, if I shout now and summon the Tai Shi clan retainers, they'll be curious why a powerful figure like Dragon Immortal Maiden would end up in my bed. If she can climb into my bed, can she climb into theirs too? Long Shangsen's smile vanished, her gaze fixed on Li Wai for a long moment. You have incredible audacity. Do you really think your transformation technique can fool everyone? Li Wai saw she wouldn't strike easily. If she intended to attack, she would have already hidden assassins in the courtyard. His tense nerves relaxed slightly as he smiled. This is my true face. I'm not afraid of being exposed. Long Shangsen chuckled, sitting up in bed and leaning against the headboard. I came here to verify your true identity. To see if you're truly the divine son or just a so-called 100-year-old man. Show me the Twin Rice Sect's divine son life token again. She held out her hand, demanding it. Li Wai would never hand over the life token, giving her leverage. He said, actually, our goals are the same. There's no need for us to destroy each other. What's your goal? Long Shangsen asked with a disbelieving laugh. Li Wai replied, whatever your goal is, that's mine too. In fact, we could cooperate. Long Shangsen's expression turned serious. You're not a member of the Twin Rice sect at all, much less the Divine Son. You've destroyed the Twin Rice sect's foundation in southern Yan Pass. Li Wai entered the room and sat down at the table beside the lamp, sighing, this matter is a secret of the Divine Sect, and I can't tell you too much. I'll only tell you one thing. Yao Qian, the junior minister of the Phoenix Terrace, is from the Divine Sect. The Divine Sect's foundation at southern Yan Pass was destroyed by his hand. Long Shangsen was truly stunned by this revelation, unable to discern its truth. If you're truly a member of the Twin Rice sect, she asked, why did you kill several Dao Seed Realm experts of our demon race at the Thunder 36 Tombs? Li Wai sneered, the Divine Sect and the demon race are merely allies in the attack on Lingxiao City. You wouldn't be naive enough to think that alliance is unbreakable, would you? Your demon race's leader, Qilin Zhuang, breached the underground immortal mansion, causing us immense suffering. Long Shangsen wouldn't be fooled by his glib words. She refused to be deceived a second time, lest she lose face before Luan Sheng Lin Yu. There must be a reason, right? Li Wai pondered for a long time, finally exhaling deeply. If I don't tell you, you'll likely continue to target me, disrupting my plans. That's good to know, Long Shangsen said. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuanhuan Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 98 353 5-Star Spiritual Master. 98th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Li Wai struggled with his decision for a long time before sighing. If the silver-winged great sage and the others hadn't intended to harm Qianchen, why would I have risked intervening? The trials of love have always been the hardest to overcome. Because of Qin Qian, Long Shangsen said, her almond eyes lighting up with interest. Li Wai nodded, surprised, you know her. The East Territory Dragon Sect and the Thundercloud Sect used to be close allies, advancing and retreating together. That Qin clan girl is technically my niece. Didn't she tell you her mother's surname is Long? Long Shangsen asked. Li Wai wasn't sure if Long Shangsen was testing him, so he avoided a direct answer. Who knows how complicated the internal relationships of your great clans are? Aunt, if you can help with this matter, Zuo Ning will be at your disposal from now on. She seems deeply infatuated with Lu Kangsheng, and my efforts have been completely fruitless. Long Shangsen only believed about 30% of his words. She rose from the bed, barefoot, and walked towards him, her fragrance filling the air. She straddled his lap, her body pressing close to his waist, the sensation unmistakable. What's the point of a little girl? She's utterly boring. I won't be leaving tonight. Her slender, boneless hands reached for the back of Li Wei's neck. But she was held in place by a body-fixing talisman. Li Wei clenched his fingers into claws and lunged for her slender, alluring neck. Snap. Long Shangsen instantly shattered the body-fixing talisman and unleashed the dragon sect's capturing technique, countering his claw strike to grip his wrist. With her other hand, lightning fast, she formed a sword finger and thrust it toward Li Wei's ancestral field in his lower abdomen. Li Wei grabbed her wrist, his waist muscles tensing as he surged to his feet, intending to use the momentum to throw her off. But Long Shangsen's legs, like clinging vines, wrapped around his waist. With a seductive moan, she whispered close to his ear, "You're hurting me." They remained locked in a stalemate, each gripping the other's wrist, one standing, the other wrapped around him. If anyone else had witnessed this, even 100 mouths wouldn't be enough to explain the situation. Long Shangsen's brow furrowed deeper. The pain in her wrist intensified, as if Li Wei were about to snap it. Neither dared to use spiritual qi or psychic power, so it was a contest of pure physical strength and endurance. In terms of physical prowess, Li Wei was her equal. However, in terms of cultivation, he was far behind her. What a powerful body. I suspected you might be the divine hidden one from the Julie hidden sect at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, but now it seems more likely you're a centenarian old demon. Is your composure due to old age and waning strength? Long Shangsen's forehead was now slick with fragrant sweat. Let's both release our grips and continue this. Otherwise, I'll have to resort to using spiritual qi. Alright. Li Wei could no longer hold on. The bones in his wrist were about to shatter. The two slowly released their fingers. The next moment, the two long, slender legs wrapped around his waist erupted with immense force, throwing Li Wei off balance and sending him tumbling toward the ground. Li Wei had anticipated her treachery. He slammed a palm against the ground to brace himself while his other hand snatched her tail. Long Shangsen yelped in pain, a low moan escaping her lips. Her legs automatically parted, and Li Wei, gripping her tail, flung her out the door, where she plunged into the courtyard's pond. Splash. Drenched and bedraggled, Long Shangsen leapt from the water, her eyes blazing with murderous intent, ready to strike again. Old man, this isn't over. Sensing something, she vanished into the night. The commotion of her fall had alerted several nearby guests, who rushed over to investigate. Li Wei smiled. Nothing to worry about. Just a starving wild cat trying to steal food. I've already taken care of it. After sending the guests away, Li Wei immediately released 7th Phoenix, ordering it to track Long Shangsen. He also released Feng, instructing it to memorize her scent. Long Shangsen's probing attack had revealed much information. First, the demon clan's understanding of the Twin Rice sect's internal affairs is indeed limited. Second, Long Shangsen and Luansheng Linyu have been in contact. It's highly likely that Luansheng Linyu sent her to probe. Li Wei deliberately mentioned killing the silver-winged great sage and others for Qin Qian to make Long Shangsen suspect he was Li Wei. In Li Wei's view, this secret was safe to reveal. When Long Shangsen left, she deliberately shouted, "Old geezer," but this was merely a tactic to lull Li Wei into complacency. After obtaining her results, she would likely meet with Luansheng Linyu. Li Wei returned to his room and looked at the shattered body-fixing talisman on the floor. At my current cultivation level, the body-fixing talismans I draw aren't strong enough to hold her. If I were a 5-star spiritual master, and had another perfect opportunity like tonight, I would have captured her for sure. Moments later, 7th Phoenix returned to report. After entering the commander-in-chief's office, she went straight back to her room. Li Wei was surprised. This outcome was unexpected. Had Luansheng Linyu not risked entering South Yan Pass? Or had he already gone to the Cloud Heaven Yuntian immortal plane? Luansheng Linyu dared to risk entering Chu Prefecture City, yet he wouldn't dare enter Lingxiao City. That doesn't seem like his style. Never mind, perhaps I'm overthinking this. Li Wei instructed Sev 5N Phoenix to continue monitoring the commander-in-chief's office and report immediately if Long Shangsen left. Then, he activated the cocoon of time to refine the Zaihe pill and comprehend the dragon seed. 3 days later. Half a month had passed within the cocoon of time, and Li Wei had finally reached the peak of 4-star spiritual master. He immediately boarded a ship and set sail for the Tanggu Sea, intending to use the Golden Crow radiance to break through to the next major realm and condense his 5th spiritual power, Psychic Star. On the deck, Li Wei sat at the bow, holding the walnut-sized spirit platform blazing star stone. This single stone was equivalent to 100 fragments. I only needed 1 fragment to condense my 2nd spiritual power star, he mused, 2 for the 3rd, and 4 for the 4th. Including the 2 fragments wasted from my 2 failed attempts, that's 6 fragments in total. This time, I'll likely need 10 fragments to successfully condense my 5th spiritual power star. Li Wei drew the yellow dragon sword and began dividing the stone. It was incredibly hard, but the sword could cut through it. He split it into 100 pieces, each slightly larger than the previous small fragments and containing even more energy. Next, he faced the Fusang Divine Tree and entered meditation, replenishing the severely depleted psychic power in his spirit realm to reach his peak condition as quickly as possible. At the 4-star spiritual master level, he could only maintain the cocoon of time for half a month (tn). 1 day in the outside world is equal to 5 days inside the cocoon of time, at a time, while only 3 days passed outside. If he could successfully break through, the cocoon of time's duration would undoubtedly be much longer. This wasn't his first attempt at condensing a spiritual power star, everything proceeded methodically. The first attempt ended in failure. He wasted a spirit platform blazing star stone. This was entirely within Li Wei's expectations. The higher the realm, the more difficult it became to condense a spiritual power star using treasures. Other spiritual masters often needed to spend months or even years cultivating at their peak before successfully condensing a spiritual power star. Time flowed. On the 4th attempt, the spiritual power star in his spirit realm finally stabilized. The 5 stars formed connections, pulling each other closer. His brow center spirit realm opened, madly absorbing the golden crow radiance and transforming into a crimson gold vortex. At that moment, the golden crow was rising from the seabed. Crimson gold light illuminated the heavens and earth, merging the sea and sky into a single hue as all energy was drawn into its body. Whoosh! A scorching wave of light erupted from Li Wei, spreading 5 miles outward and stirring up 2-story high waves. When Li Wei's psychic power extended 5 miles out, it began to blur. As a 3-star spiritual master, his psychic power could only reach a mile away. Reaching 5 miles with psychic power was completely different from a martial mystic cultivator's Dao Heart manifestation extending 5 miles. Psychic power was much weaker in terms of offensive power, but its perception was far superior. For a martial mystic cultivator to extend their Dao Heart manifestation 5 miles, they would normally need to form a Dao fruit and reach the 7th heaven. Of course, exceptional geniuses were another matter entirely. Still, powerful perception offered many advantages. For instance, if someone's intent landed on him, he could detect it in advance. Moreover, he could use his psychic power to manipulate a martial mystic cultivator's intent perception, creating illusions to better conceal himself. When facing an opponent of similar strength, the best strategy was to attack their mind first, rely on superior perception, seize the advantage of timing and terrain, and then rely on experience and determination. Only after all these factors were exhausted would the final clash of raw power decide the outcome. Whoosh! Li Wei retracted the towering Fusang Divine Tree light shadow behind him into his body. Then, he condensed a ball of golden crow flame in his palm, carefully examining it as he muttered to himself, as a 4-star spiritual master, the golden crow flame I infused with my psychic power was equivalent to the power of a 2nd-level great technique at the beginner level. But now, having reached 5-star spiritual master, coupled with my recent direct absorption of golden crow radiance, the power of my golden crow flame should rival the 2nd-level perfection stage great technique. If I also had the myriad manifestations staff spear and the 6-jaw secrets incantation, I should have few opponents below the 7th heaven of the Dao Seed realm, relying solely on psychic power. A clear female voice rang out from the ship. That's certainly impressive, but to think you could become invincible below the Dao Fruit realm is to underestimate the world. You have trump cards, but so do others. You can transcend realms, and so can they. Unless. Without warning, Li Wei's heart skipped a beat, then he took a long, slow breath before turning to face Tang Wanzhou, who stood at the stern of the ship. When did you wake up? He asked. Tang Wanzhou gazed at the distant golden crow in the sky, her eyes filled with longing. Her black robe billowed like a battle flag in the sea breeze, her long hair shimmering like golden threads in the sunlight. A boundless, 10,000 zhang heroic spirit radiated from her core. She seemed completely oblivious to Li Wei's voice, lost in her own thoughts. Fusang holds up the sea and sky, leaving no trace of the netherworld, she murmured. The golden crow illuminates eternal day, banishing the night. The legends are true, beyond Yingzhou, there truly exists such a vast, boundless sea. Tang Wanzhou gracefully leapt from the jade boat, landing directly on the water's surface. She began walking toward the Fusang Divine Tree, each step like a devout disciple pursuing the Tao, so utterly captivated, so relentlessly determined. Her pace quickened, until she was racing across the golden-scaled sea, disappearing over the horizon. This young lord. Her mind still seems a bit unstable. Not fully recovered. Li Wei worried that she might try to kill him again when she returned, considering whether to immediately retreat to the blood-mud space. Yet he also felt that the Tanggu Sea was too dangerous, with no land in sight. Leaving her here would be utterly heartless. Before long, Tang Wanzhou returned, head feet still skimming the water's surface. She sighed deeply. The Fusong divine tree is truly extraordinary, an ideal place to cultivate imperial techniques. With such a treasure trove for cultivation, the ancient heavenly emperor is within reach. Clearly, she didn't made it. Li Wei stood on the ship and asked, what makes it so extraordinary? Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuanhuan Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 99 354 The Altar, the Gu Curse. 99th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The wind had died down, and the waves had stilled, leaving the sea surface calm and peaceful. Golden Zaihe flowers floated eternally on the water, absorbing the light of the Fusong divine tree and the golden crow year-round, storing abundant fire essence within. The smaller Zaihe flowers, only fist-sized, glowed faintly. Having grown for just a year or two, they contained less fire essence. The larger ones, over 10 meters in diameter, blazed like miniature suns on the water. Their heat could boil the surrounding water, creating a sea of mist. These had grown for thousands of years. Even with the constitution of the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors, they dared to consume only Zaihe flowers the size of washbasins. Tang Wanzhou walked through the golden sea, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Sometimes she would touch the petals with her fingers, other times she would fly into the massive Zaihe to meditate. Her gaze gradually softened as she sighed, Li Wei, you're guarding an unimaginable treasure trove. No wonder your cultivation speed is so astonishing. How did we get here? A space teleportation formation. Seeing her composure, Li Wei replied, if you wish to return to the Lingxiao realm, we can leave at any time. But young lord, you haven't answered my previous question. Tang Wanzhou shook her head, I'm not going back. That blood mud land earlier, with its mysterious blood chi and spiritual energy, can help me quickly break the second immortal realm shackle, the soul return shackle. And this place can help me break the remaining immortal realm shackles. Most people spend a 60-year cycle just to break one immortal realm shackle, which is already a monumental achievement. But I aim for great immortal realm within a 60-year cycle, even to transcend. What did you ask just now? Right now, my focus is primarily on my inner world, on the soul and the spirit. My reactions to the outside world are much slower. Li Wei had some understanding of the martial mystic Dao immortal realm. Each immortal realm shackle breakthrough granted one 60-year cycle of lifespan. Why were great immortal realm cultivators, with lifespans of several centuries, so rare? Because most immortal realm great powers spend an entire first-class cycle, 60 years, just to break a single immortal realm shackle. All immortal realm great powers are constantly pursued by their own lifespan, racing against time. Only by cultivating with utmost dedication can they hope to reach the other shore realm, where transcendence reside. For this reason, immortal realm great powers generally avoid managing worldly affairs, lest they waste their limited energy and lifespan. They delegate authority to Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators, the overlords of the mortal realm. Meanwhile, Dao Seed Realm elders above the 7th heaven are also desperately striving to break through to the immortal realm. Consequently, the true power in the mortal realm, including that of the ancient myriad sects, ultimately rests in the hands of Dao Seed Realm experts under 60 years of age. This is because they possess ample lifespans. The title, First Commander, emerged naturally. The First Commander became the public face and strongest representative of each major power. Tang Wanzhou's claim to break through to the transcendence within a first-class cycle, 60 years, was no longer mere arrogance, it was a blatant insult to all the elder great powers of the world. Li Wei asked, young lord, you mentioned the Fusong divine tree is not simple. So I asked, how is it not simple? Whoosh. Tang Wanzhou gracefully floated onto the jade boat. The title, young lord, grated on her ears, feeling different from her memories. She stared intently at Li Wei. Is it true that my memories and consciousness from the past year have been compromised? I can sense that you're not a treacherous villain. Your decision to stay earlier speaks volumes about your integrity. Gazing directly into the eyes of the formidable young lord of the Northern Territory, Li Wei felt as though he were facing a beautiful and dangerous enemy, preparing for a unique challenge. The sense of impending doom stemmed from the uncertainty of whether she might suddenly draw her sword again. The perception of her beauty arose from the false memories in which they seemed to share a bond beyond mere friendship. In this world, if anyone could capture Tang Wanzhou's heart and embrace the young lord of the Northern Territory, it would be an achievement comparable to reaching the ancient heavenly emperor level in the martial mystic Dao. Beautiful yet dangerous, passionate yet wise. Li Wei couldn't help but smile at the praise from such an opponent. The fact that you're asking this question suggests you've recovered significantly. Your rationality can now distinguish between truth and illusion. Tang Wanzhou replied, it's only my rationality that can suppress my emotions. Clarity has temporarily subdued the chaos. Amidst the confusion, I glimpsed a corner of the truth within my sea of consciousness. It was an altar, suspended in the starry sky, with two identical old men seated upon it. They appeared to be engaged in a battle of Tao and Law, leaving them with no energy to spare for me. I cautiously advanced, but before I could get close, a wisp of light mist emanating from the altar struck me. My consciousness vanished, replaced by chaos. Li Wei was shocked. He knew this must be the place Tang Wanzhou had reached through the space teleportation formation in the southern Purity Nanqing Palace, where she had stumbled upon a great secret of the Twin Rice sect. Were they the two rice ancestors? Li Wei asked, using seawater to conjure the image of the rice ancestor statues he had seen. I can't recall their faces clearly. Everything is blurred, Tang Wanzhou replied. Li Wei asked, how do you know they were engaged in a battle of Tao and Law? Tang Wanzhou recalled, because at the center of the altar, there was a straw figure of a woman, wrapped in golden straw. Her palace robes were covered in mysterious blood-red inscriptions, resembling ancient curse techniques and Gu techniques. Many corpses lay scattered around the altar's edge, piled into mountains. They were all fresh corpses, their blood pooling into an endless crimson sea. The more she described, the more terrifying it became. If true, Li Wei suspected the two rice ancestors were using the altar to cast a Gu curse on the Grand Palace Master of Lingxiao City. After all, Tang Wanzhou had experienced a similar state after being struck by only a wisp of light mist. Fu Prefecture itself bordered the cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plane. Who knows if the underground immortal mansion extends beneath the cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plane. Of course, it could also be a delusion born from Tang Wanzhou's confused state. After a long silence, the two fell into thought. Tang Wanzhou suddenly remembered something and said, the space beneath the Fusong divine tree is highly active and inaccessible. Li Wei continued, earlier, you said I underestimated the people of the world. Unless. What were you going to say? Tang Wanzhou looked extremely serious. The golden crow flame contained within your spirit light is indeed incredibly powerful, comparable to the perfected second layer of a great technique. Moreover, you can wield it with perfect control. A 5-star spiritual master corresponds to a martial mystic cultivator at the 5th heaven of the Dao Seed realm. Let's set aside those with average talent, like pure immortal physique in 9 Springs Supremes, and focus solely on inheritor-level figures and above. Inheritors who reach the 5th heaven of the Dao Seed realm typically take a decade or two to achieve it. Some may take as long as 2 or 3 decades. Given that much time, anyone with even a first-rate level of comprehension can almost certainly perfect the second layer of a great technique. Mastering the first layer of a great technique in 2 or 3 years is the mark of a prodigy. Achieving it in 5 or 6 years is merely average. Taking a decade to do so is considered mediocre. Inheritors master the first layer of a great technique in the lower 3 realms. They master the second layer in the middle 3 realms, and the third layer in the upper 3 realms. That's considered normal progress. Moreover, inheritors never lack top-tier spiritual artifacts. They are the talents carefully cultivated by the major powers. What advantages do you have against them? Therefore, your current psychic power combat strength should aim to defeat inheritors at the 5th heaven of the Dao Seed realm. Even among inheritors, there are tiers. You should have noticed this during the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival. At least 3 distinct levels can be identified. Li Wei wore a half-smile, finally understanding that this young lord's standards were terrifyingly high. He didn't even bother mentioning inferior root Dao Seed realm cultivators, and pure immortal physiques and 9 Springs Supremes were dismissed as trash. Only inheritors even remotely caught his eye. Li Wei, of course, refused to accept this. How about a duel? Tang Wanzhou turned his head slightly and glanced at him. Facing an immortal realm great power, Li Wei held nothing back, seizing this opportunity to test the limits of his psychic power in actual combat. Swish. He summoned the myriad manifestation staff spear from his wind mansion. A crimson gold light flared from Li Wei's brow as golden crow flames erupted wildly. Star track patterns swirled around his body, and the spear thrust forward like a dragon. Boom. Empowered by the myriad manifestation staff spear, the golden crow flames' powers surged even further. Blinding light erupted, and the air exploded. Tang Wanzhou deflected the attack with his protective spiritual qi, remaining completely unfazed. Even the jade boat beneath his feet remained perfectly stable. This is an excellent psychic staff. With it, even against inheritors of the 5th heaven wielding top-tier spiritual artifacts, you wouldn't be at a disadvantage. But against top-tier inheritors like Tang Wanzhou and Kang Li, it's hard to say. Those two. They're both Dragon Seed Dao cultivators. They've covered the same distance in 2 years that other inheritors take over a decade to traverse. Their physical bodies and Dao techniques likely have obvious shortcomings. Li Wei raised the myriad manifestation staff spear above his head. Instantly, countless starlight rays descended, converging at the spear's tip. He uttered a single word. Fight. Flames and starlight coalesced around him, forming a 2-meter-tall, awe-inspiring suit of armor. He leapt forward, slashing down with immense force, creating violent ripples in Tang Wanzhou's protective spiritual qi. The bright spearhead plunged completely into the barrier. This was Li Weiyi's most powerful psychic attack yet. A flicker of surprise crossed Tang Wanzhou's eyes. Li Weiyi landed back on the jade boat, sending ripples spreading across the water. How was that? Tang Wanzhou smiled faintly. The staff's ability to harness starlight for its own use is even more remarkable than I anticipated. Combined with that psychic technique, it truly places you among the top tier at the sixth heaven of the Dao Seed realm. However, to reach the pinnacle or become invincible, your psychic power must continue to advance. After all, you've only just broken through to become a 5-star spiritual master. Flattered by her praise, Li Weiyi sheathed the myriad manifestation staff spear and humbly replied, "It's just borrowed power. If this staff were taken from me, I'd instantly revert to my true form." Spiritual masters seeking to overcome higher realms must rely on external forces. Tang Wanzhou continued, insect tamers use swarms of insects, talisman masters rely on talismans, formation masters on formations, and there are also curse techniques, beast taming, spirit summoning, and more. The key to a spiritual master's invincibility within their own realm lies in accumulating resources and external advantages. A spiritual master like you, who has cultivated the golden crow flame, is one in a million, an extreme rarity. That's what I meant by, unless you can prepare a vast supply of talismans, formations, and insect swarms. A spiritual master's confidence stems from these very foundations. With your exceptional talent, if you prepare adequately, you might even be able to challenge the 7th heaven of the Dao Seed realm, not just the 6th heaven. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuanhuan Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 100-355 The Crisis of the Tai Shi Family. 100th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Li Weiyi thought of Li Ling from the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival. If he could mass-produce talismans in advance and control a talisman rain, his combat strength would indeed reach a terrifying level. The 9 characters of the 6 Jaw Secrets incantation on the Yellow Dragon Sword could clearly be integrated with talismans. So far, he had only successfully combined the Xing move secret incantation with the Divine Swiftness talisman, greatly enhancing its power. What about the other 8 secret incantations? Li Weiyi didn't have much time to study talismans and only mastered a few. He mused, among the talismans I know, the body-fixing talisman is the most useful in combat. With my current psychic power, if I could incorporate the incantation's characters into it, the power would be truly remarkable. For talisman materials, I'll need to purchase transcendent skin and ancient immortal giant beast blood. Otherwise, high-level cultivators would shatter them instantly. Li Weiyi and Tang Wanzhou returned to the blood mud space, walking side by side. One was immortal, the other a pure immortal physique. She was a woman, and a beautiful one at that, but also a forthright, bold, confident, and proud person. Her bearing inspired trust. One would never worry about her resorting to underhanded tactics against friends or killing for treasure. After Li Weiyi finished explaining the current situation, Tang Wanzhou pondered for a moment, head gaze returning to its usual wisdom and depth. Lingxiao City cannot fall, at least not yet. I will lead this battle. Your cultivation is still far too weak. Follow my orders. The heretical sect is certain to have immortal realm giants stationed within Lingxiao City. Li Weiyi said, if you reveal yourself now, all my previous efforts will be wasted. Headquarters will undoubtedly suspect that I helped you escape. I believe we must frame the Sui sect for rescuing you from headquarters. Only by inciting internal conflict within the Twin Rice sect can we hope to win. Moreover, your current condition is unstable, and your reactions to the outside world are slow. I will take charge of the investigation. You follow my orders. And, young lord, please lend me a hand at the critical moment. Tang Wanzhou didn't press the matter further. She produced a token. With this token, it's as if I were present in person. You can command all the Snow Sword Tang Court's hidden operatives in Lingxiao City. Li Weiyi accepted the token, his confidence soaring with the support of an immortal realm giant. As he prepared to leave, his eyes suddenly flickered. Whoosh! He unleashed the Karma Burning Wheel, combining psychic power and martial mystic path to launch a surprise attack at Tang Wanzhou, who was preparing to meditate and cultivate. Tang Wanzhou formed a sword finger with her hand and swatted Li Weiyi away with a wave of her arm. That strike had some potential. Li Weiyi withdrew from the blood mud space and stepped out of his room. It was a bright, sunny day. He stretched languidly and instructed his maidservants to prepare a meal. He had spent 3 days in the outside world cultivating within the cocoon of time. Breaking through to the next realm at the Tangusi had taken another 3 days in the outside world. 6 days had passed in the outside world. His true cultivation time was 18 days. He spent approximately 1 month inside Blood Mud Space and Tengu Sea. However, he only cultivated for 18 days. His stomach was utterly empty, and he was famished. With my current cultivation as a 5-star spiritual master, the cocoon of time should be able to sustain me for much longer. My martial mystic path cultivation is still too weak. I need to achieve Dragon Seed Dao birth as soon as possible. Luansheng Linyu took half a year to advance from the second heaven to the third heaven. With the cocoon of time's assistance, could I possibly do it in a month? Li Wei pondered as he ate. He still believed that crafting talismans and purchasing millennial essence herbs to nurture his spiritual insects was the fastest way to boost his combat strength in the near future. During his seclusion, 7th Phoenix had refrained from disturbing him. Upon inquiry, he learned that Long Shangsen had remained within the commander-in-chief's office for the past 6 days. However, from the 2 maid servants, he learned that Tai Shi Bai had visited twice but, knowing he was in seclusion, had refrained from disturbing him. After his meal, Li Wei went to the commander-in-chief's office to pay his respects. When Tai Shi Bai saw him, he laughed from afar. Zuo Ning, if you don't come out of seclusion soon, I'll smash your door tonight. What crime has the door committed to provoke such a grand display from Brother Taishi? Li Wei asked. We will leave for Lingxiao City tomorrow. Let's go, mother wants to see you. Tai Shi Bai's voice, transmitted through spiritual qi, echoed in Li Wei's ear. Li Wei followed Tai Shi Bai through the commander-in-chief's office courtyard, where each step revealed a new scene. Servants and household staff alike retreated to the sides, kneeling in reverence as they passed. Tai Shi Bai's expression was grave. Something has happened at the Grand Temple of Eternal Harmony Taichang Temple. We managed to keep it under wraps before, to prevent panic. But in the last few days, the news has somehow leaked out and spread throughout Lingxiao City's districts. The Grand Temple of Eternal Harmony was a crucial government department responsible for overseeing sacrifices, divination, rituals, music, ancestral temples, and imperial mausoleums. It also supervised the Imperial Medical Academy and managed the Bureau of Music. Most importantly, the mother-child spring, which Yu Yaozi had recovered from an unknown location over a decade ago, was under the Grand Temple's custody and management. Li Wei feigned ignorance. What happened at the Grand Temple? What does it have to do with us? Imperial Court Minister Tai Shi Qingxi is the third most important figure in the Tai Shi clan, after our ancestor and my father. I have to call him second uncle. If something were to happen to him, the entire Tai Shi clan would be in trouble. As for the strange events that have been occurring, I can't explain them to you in a few words. We're here now. Be careful how you handle this. My mother sent people to Shu Prefecture to investigate you. Tai Shi Bai offered this warning before stepping through the gate and bowing respectfully. Mother, Zuo Ning has arrived. Madame Long glanced at him. The figure behind the plum and bamboo screen, dressed in court robes, followed with a bow. Zuo Ning greets Madame Long. Zuo Ning, you have dared to defy the imperial court. Do you know what fate awaits you? Madame Long's voice was cold and sharp, and a powerful energy surged from her, filling the entire courtyard. Li Wei felt as if thunder had exploded in his ears. He bowed even lower, staring at the ground, and trembled with fear. Zuo Ning would never dare defy the imperial court. Yet inwardly, he remained calm. If Madame Long truly intended to punish him, she wouldn't have waited for him to come to the commander-in-chief's office. She would have already dispatched troops to arrest him. You spent 5 years among the rebels, yet you claim you never defied the imperial court. Madame Long pressed. Li Wei's forehead was beaded with sweat, his face pale with terror. Trembling, he stammered, I was forced. I'm now turning away from darkness and embracing the light. Turning away from darkness and embracing the light. You just couldn't stand it anymore in the Earth Wolf King's army, could you? With a flick of her wrist, Madame Long tossed the investigation results from Shu Prefecture over the screen. Tai Shi Bai picked them up, read them, and his expression shifted to one of surprise. Li Wei glanced at the contents, silently cursing Shi Zhoujai and Shi Luyu 10 times over. Relying on these Dharma kings was truly unreliable, they had completely ruined his reputation. The report stated that Zuo Ning had once joined the Earth Wolf King's army, where he gained the favor of the Six Desires Dharma King and served as his advisor for 5 years. 3 months ago, he had fled the Earth Wolf King's army. The reason? Shi Wuyan had taken a liking to him and wanted to make him his male concubine. Tai Shi Bai burst into laughter. I've long heard that Shi Wuyan has a fondness for men. I never expected you, Zuo Ning, to have such charm. Li Wei snatched the secret letter, tore it to shreds, and wailed, please, don't mention this again. It will ruin my reputation completely. Behind the screen, Madame Long said, you come from the Earth Wolf King's army. If the Phoenix Terrace discovers your origins, the Commander-in-Chief's office will be implicated. Tai Shi Bai immediately pleaded, Zuo Ning is merely a staff member, and he was likely coerced by Shi Luyu. On the post ship, he risked exposing his true strength to save others, which demonstrates his inherent goodness. I am willing to vouch for him. Please, mother, show him leniency. One played the good cop, the other the bad cop. Madame Long's true intention was simply to help Tai Shibai recruit Zuo Ning into his ranks. Li Wei saw through their charade and remained silent, awaiting her decision. Tai Shibai said, in times of chaos, ability is paramount. With the Tai Shi clan facing imminent disaster, recruiting spiritual masters from our ranks, Zuo Ning might be able to offer some assistance. Madame Long fell silent for a moment, then sighed, withdrawing her spiritual qi and intent. Since you pled for him so earnestly, if I insisted on sending him to the Phoenix Terrace for investigation, you would surely resent me. Zuo Ning, remember your young master's kindness. Zuo Ning is willing to die for the young master, Li Wei declared resolutely. The next day, before dawn, a large contingent of troops gathered outside the commander-in-chief's office. 7 gilded carriages and dozens of exotic beast mounts stood ready. All the spiritual masters boarded the carriages, 4 or 6 to a carriage. They had to enter the city secretly, without drawing attention. Dao-Seed realm retainers rode the exotic beast mounts. The fact that the commander-in-chief's office could mobilize so many powerful individuals in such a short time spoke volumes about its strength. Li Wei spotted Long Shangsen among the crowd. She wore a veil and a green robe, sharing a carriage with several other female spiritual masters. As she boarded, she cast a cold glance at Li Wei, silently mouthing words he couldn't decipher. Zuo Ning, come with me. Tai Shibai's voice rang out from the lead carriage. Li Wei climbed aboard. The interior was spacious, measuring 12 feet square. It featured a built-in table and a white exotic beast hide carpet. On the table sat a bronze incense burner, from which wisps of mist curled upwards. After the convoy set off, Tai Shibai's expression turned grave. Last night, a top-priority military dispatch arrived from South Yan Pass. The 3 island barbarians and remnants of the Dragon sect have launched a counter-offensive in the Eastern Territory. Li Wei said, the Eastern Territory has the Thundercloud sect and the Imperial Court's Duke of the Eastern Sea leading the army. They won't succeed there. Tai Shibai's furrowed brow remained etched with worry. In the Western Territory, the Demon Clan's army has gathered in unprecedented numbers, the largest in 2 years. If the Zhu clan falls, the Imperial Court's western gate will be wide open. Li Wei countered, the king of the Western Sea leads the Western Sea slaves, the Imperial Court's most elite iron army. The Western Territory won't be so easily breached. Tai Shibai said, Liang Prefecture is one of the Imperial Court's core 8 prefectures, located at the foot of the cloud heaven Yuntian, immortal plain. But not long ago, a demon clan transcendent infiltrated the provincial city, causing devastating destruction and heavy casualties. Zuo Ning, it's been 2 years. The demon clan transcendent have gradually recovered from their injuries and are beginning to counterattack. Just wait and see. The eye of the coming storm will undoubtedly be in the Western Territory. Li Wei knew the truth. The demon clan was luring the Imperial Court's top experts to the East Sea and Western Territory to create chaos, sow confusion, and conceal their true objective. But he dared not speak. If the demon clan learned that news of their attack on Lingxiao City had leaked, they might very well strike the Western Territory first. As a friend, Li Wei desperately wanted to warn him. The Tai Shi clan was in the most danger right now. The Tai Shi clan controlled the Cloud Heaven, Yuntian, Immortal Plain, Lingxiao City, the 4 Great Passes, and half of the defensive formation. The Twin Rice sect and the Demon clan had undoubtedly already launched their attacks. Outside, the rhythmic sounds of hooves and carriage wheels echoed. Li Wei knew that going to Lingxiao City would be fraught with peril, a deliberate plunge into the eye of the storm. His mind raced with anxieties and distractions. He wondered, only 3 days until the first day of the 12th lunar month. I wonder if all the hidden ones from the hidden sect have already entered Lingxiao City. After all these days, has Tuoba managed to deliver the blood letter back to headquarters? If he failed, Li Wei had little confidence and could only prepare for the worst. At this moment, a massive force from the Twin Rice sect's cultivation headquarters Withered Flourish Karong Hall and Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall surrounded the Southern Purity Nanqing Palace. Several hall masters personally arrived, their imposing presence clearly intended to demand answers. They directly shattered the palace's formation with their spiritual artifacts and forced their way inside. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.